for your future reference. And here we are. So exam drill, strategy analysis. Question number 1. Clara is a new BA on an initiative. Thomas, the BA who defined the business need and the future state, was transferred to the company's headquarters. The instructions he left Clara were to look at the existing capabilities related to the business need and the desired outcomes and figure out what was needed to realize the future state. Clara was unsure of what capabilities meant. Thinking that they were system features, Thomas coached her that capabilities could include A, lines of service, processes, products, B, functions, processes, products, C, functions, processes, and solution scope, D, functions, processes, and locations. What do you mean by capabilities? What does BIBOK mean? Capabilities. This is found both in current and future state. So you can chat your answer and or come off mute. Okay, so Rochelle says C. This is more of a memorization thing, I guess. So I guess you don't need to explain. Anyone else though? To agree or disagree? I want to get at least 2 answers to each question. There you go. Brian also says C. Let's check that answer since you guys agree with each other. And that is incorrect. So functions, processes, and locations. I'll fight just a bit. Let's go to the next one. So number 2, Miriam is a BA who is working to improve the ability of the help desk to resolve more end user issues on the first call. She has documented year-to-date first call resolution rates and is working on identifying the root cause for calls needing escalation to other support groups. During her analysis, she receives first call resolution results for the last 2 reporting periods that show marked improvement from her baseline year-to-date results. What's most likely happening? A, the original year-to-date results were most likely flawed. B, there was a software update and the help desk was flooded with calls that were easy to resolve. C, the help desk obtained new resources that were more knowledgeable and therefore could resolve more calls. D, there are most likely internal and external influencers at play that are altering the current state. So, what caused the improvement? So read this scenario carefully because it covers the next 2 questions. You get a bunch of questions like this in the exam. Actually, you'll have like 3 or more questions based on paragraph long scenario, and this is actually pretty short. Some of them have diagrams and so on and so forth. And math. Some of them have math. Yeah. So, what do you guys think? Erwin says D. Okay. Anyone else? Or would you like to explain your answer, Erwin?
I just thought that the question is requires more information to be able to come up with what most likely to happening. So I kind of chose the internal and external influencers.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Let's check it out. That is correct. So the current state of an enterprise is ready static while the change is being developed and implemented. As such, current state can never really be baseline. So you kind of see this as a theme of strategy analysis. You don't make assumptions. You have to get all the information about what's happening before you decide what needs to change. Anyway, thank you, Erwin. Next, you have Miriam is a BA who is working to improve the ability of the help desk to resolve more end user issues on the first call. Wait, I'm sorry. This is the same thing. I don't know why I'm reading it again. I won't read it again. What is Miriam's best next step before continuing with root cause analysis? So remember, it's a improvement, no? And then we're saying that it could have been from external or internal influences. So in figuring this out, what's the next step for root cause analysis, which is a technique in strategy analysis knowledge area? A, double check the year-to-date results to ensure data precision and integrity. B, research what, if anything, in the environment changed to understand the cause of the marked improvement. C, report to the sponsor that the problem is improving on its own and that pursuing the initiative isn't cost effective at this point. D, modify root cause analysis activities to the categories of the calls that were not resolved on the first call during the last 2 months. All right, so she has this information. You know you need more information. What's the next step? EJ, I believe that B is for this answer. Is it for this question? Okay, following the previous answer's logic. Okay, research what, if anything, if the environment changed to understand the cause of the marked improvement. So you're leaning towards more of the external side. Remember, the first question said it could be internal, it could be external. Environment is external. Any other thoughts? Or anyone agree with EJ? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and check this. And that is correct. Before determining how to continue, Miriam has to discern what, if anything, changed in the environment and if whatever changed will significantly modify the current state, definition, and or analysis activities. All right. Good job, EJ. Number 4, Susan is a business analyst who is creating process map of the current product changeover process on a manufacturing line. The sponsor advises her not to waste time on the current process because everybody knows it doesn't work. Instead, he counsels her to research a best practice and train everyone on it as quickly as possible. What is Susan's best course of action? A, Susan should quickly develop a cost-benefit analysis pursuing her course of action to demonstrate the overall value to her sponsor. B, agree that in this situation, it makes sense to research best practice and implement it as soon as possible to maximize business value. C, agree with the sponsor to minimize conflict but continue process mapping as a tool to use in analysis of the current state. D, respectfully explain that the current process will be documented and analyzed just to the point of identifying what exactly will need to change so the effects of the change can be assessed. All right, sponsor doesn't care about current state. And says best practices is the way to go. What should Susan do? What would you do? According to Babok. EJ says B, value delivery. Agree that in this situation, it makes sense to research best practice and implement it as soon as possible to maximize business value. Okay, anyone else? Agree or disagree with EJ? Brian says it's D. Interesting. And so does Erwin. All right. I would make you guys debate, but we're behind on time, so let's just go for it. And yes, the majority vote is correct one. The current state should be explored in just enough detail to validate the need of the change, identify what needs to change to achieve the desired future state, and analyze its effects. So, which makes sense. Need to see the impact of the change before you decide to make that change. So good job. When analyzing the current state, business analysts should identify external influencers that might be acting as constraints, dependencies, or drivers. Which of the following does not represent an external influence? A, competitors. B, suppliers. C, microeconomic factors. D, customers. Which is not an external influence, so which is internal. And Brian says it's C. Anyone to agree or disagree with Brian? Andy says it's D, customers. All right, so either one of you explain. Okay. Erwin says it's C with a Babok reference. I think that's the correct one. Macroeconomic factors would be a source of external influence, not microeconomic. Microeconomic is just was a curveball, and you can tell that all of these are external. So, okay, I don't think microeconomic is mentioned anywhere in the Babok, actually. Is it? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think so. All right. Which of the following statements best describes the role of the domain SME in defining the change strategy? A, authorizes and ensures funding for solution delivery. B, ensures adhering to various regulations. C, ensures that the change will function within acceptable parameters. D, develops the financial analysis for strategy selection. So what does the domain SME do in change strategy definition? Okay, I don't see your messages anymore. Oh, there. Fate says C. Welcome back, Fate. Anyone else to agree or disagree with Fate? She thinks it ensures that change will function within acceptable parameters. Okay, EJ says have the expertise in some aspect of the change. 6.4.7. What's your answer though, EJ? Are you agreeing? Andy says C, agreeing with Fate. So let's lock that in. And that is actually incorrect. This is a tester's role. Domain SMEs have in-depth knowledge or expertise in some aspect of the change. There was your quote, TJ. A financial analyst is a domain SME. Yeah. Okay. This wasn't very straightforward, was it? Financial analyst is a domain SME if the domain is finance, I guess. Right. Maybe this one can be reviewed. I don't know if anyone would have gotten this. Okay. So thank you. Liz conducted focus groups with the satisfied customers to identify that the root causes of declining customer satisfaction scores, researched cost-effective solutions, performed a detailed cost-benefit analysis for each option, and presented a recommendation to the Director of Support Services in a business case. Liz was incredibly proud of her work. The director and other key stakeholders were not impressed and deferred her recommendation. What is the most likely reason for the lack of support for Liz's recommendation? A, the director didn't support the financial assumptions in the analysis, and so had little faith in the overall cost-benefit analysis. B, Liz failed to use multiple elicitation techniques, so decision makers were hesitant to believe the identified root causes. C, Liz presented her work to a key stakeholder versus the decision maker. And D, Liz conducted the work on her own and failed to collaborate with the stakeholders. So, why were the stakeholders not impressed? Do we have any answers? Why did the director and others take? Okay, so EJ says D, Liz conducted the work on her own and failed to collaborate with stakeholders. as a hunch. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else who doesn't agree or agrees with EJ? Faith agrees. All right. So let's check that out. And that is correct. The theme of collaboration to promote and ensure buy-in is prevalent throughout strategy analysis, but is introduced in the BACCM for the chapter. All right. Yeah, so it says here that she did all this stuff on her own and then presented. Okay. So Sonia is formulating a proposed change approach for her bank, which wants to enable customers to apply for new accounts using a website. The bank currently has limited web functionality and only permits new accounts to be opened at a branch. She is deciding which factors to include in her analysis. Which of the following factors should Sonia consider? Excuse me. A, alternative strategies for delivering the needed capabilities. B, knowledge and skills of developers who could build new web pages. C, risks involved with allowing new account applications through a website. D, business rules that apply to the opening of new accounts. Okay, Fate says C. Anyone else? What kind of analysis is she conducting anyway? Agreeing with C or D, says EJ. Well, Fate only said C. D was for the previous question. So let's check C. That is incorrect. So risks are part of the overall change strategy, but the BABOK does not list them as a capability category within gap analysis. So she was doing a gap analysis. And knowledge and skills is one capability category to consider while performing a gap analysis. This question is tricky with more than one possible answer. The limited web functionality in current state suggests they may lack the skills required in the future state. So remember, it says limited web functionality. And the key was identifying that she was doing a gap analysis. All right. So next, you have been instructed to compare your organizational practices against the best-in-class practices at other companies. What do you need to perform? A feasibility study, a benchmark study, market analysis, a focus group. Best in class, keyword, key term. EJ says B. Anyone else? Faith also says B. Okay, everyone remembers that it's benchmarking. Right. Next, Tony has listed a risk on the BA risk register that states the off-the-shelf solution will not interface with the existing accounting system without significant customization. Team members have asked him to remove it from the register. Why? A, because the statement is not a risk. B, because the team has determined a solution. C, because it is a solution risk that will be addressed by the delivery team. D, because it is a design risk and should be addressed by the solution architect. A, not a risk. Okay, because it's an issue, right? Let's check that out. This is pretty straightforward, so I'll just go ahead with it. Hi, Thea. Morning. How's it going?
Apologize. My alarm did not go off.
No worries.
You'll know that it's like morning here for me, like early.
Yeah, super early morning. But no worries. We are
You're rocking it.
Yeah, we're doing okay. Not that great. We have three wrong answers out of no, not bad actually.
3 out of 10 is not bad.
Yeah, 7 out of 10. Not bad.
Yeah.
Could be better.
This scorer right now would pass the CBAP. So we want to be better than this because with the stress of taking the test, we know it's not going to be so easy. So let's do better.
All right.
Gotten the right
let's do
answer so
that.
far that I've seen.
All right. So number 11, Mary is a business analyst who has collaborated with stakeholders and successfully identified the primary root cause related to the business need. To fix the problem, she and her team have generated several alternative solutions, including the forecasted financial costs and benefits associated with each option. However, the decision maker still is not sold. What might be missing from Mary's presentation? Excuse me. A, the business needs to know the business needs, so they know what the problem they are trying to solve is. The root cause, so the alternative solutions are lacking context. The costs and benefits associated with doing nothing. Net present value and internal rate of return. So successfully identified primary root cause. And she showed several solutions, possible solutions with forecasts, cost benefits associated with each option. And still not sold. Why not?
Maybe talking through this would be an effective way to address it.
So I think step one would say what technique? What technique is all right. So Faith says letter A, the business need, so they know what problem they are trying to solve. So the business need is lacking from the presentation. Anyone else to agree or disagree? Or you want to explain your answer, Faith?
I guess we go with A.
All right, do that. EJ has a Babok reference here with no answer. A is incorrect. So this might be true, but given they conducted a root cause analysis, they should know what problem they are trying to solve. Okay, so see the costs and benefits associated with doing nothing. The status quo is always considered an option and presented along with other solution alternatives. So they only presented projections if they did something about it, but not with doing nothing. So which should always be considered when you're considering solution alternatives, according to Babel. And which sounds practical. Okay, so we have a case study. Ashish is working on a project for XYZ Insurance to enable video submission of auto accident claims. He is specifying the conditions required to meet the business need for the client. Ashish created the following diagram to help him understand the new process. Submit video claim, supplier input, process output, customer. So it's a CPOC diagram. Okay, so let's look at this for a sec. The first question is, what activity is Ashish performed? A, defining a value chain for the process. B, defining the future state for the process. C, modeling requirements for the process. D, CPOC, modeling the process. So the keyword is activity. What activity is this called according to the Bible? Is that the same as when you say technique?
I've heard this called SIPOC or CPOC.
Yeah, same. Which one I'm trying to remember now. It's a type of value chain process map, right? If I remember correctly. What do you guys think?
We've got 17 participants. Does anybody have a guess?
It says D. Obvious answer. Okay, let's check that out. That is incorrect. So defining the future state for the process. So an invented answer, since SIPOC is not is part of process modeling and not a technique in its own right. Okay.
So the key to this question is the word new process. So it would be the future state.
Right. So specifying the conditions required to meet the business need, which is another way of saying defining the future state, right? New process. So same case, video submission for auto insurance claims. Which component is Ashish missing from the SIPOC diagram? A, an input for the vehicle involved in the accident. B, a customer representing the claims database. C, an output of the attached video. D, a process step for providing the claim receipt.
I've seen several study groups have this question, and it is hard, but do your best in answering, and then we'll see which one is the right answer.
Okay. Oh. Akinsola says, let us see. An output of the attached video. Okay. Let's try that out. So that is incorrect. The attached video is an output not an output of a process. Process transforms into the claim. So the new claim is the output. But since the attached video itself does not get transformed, it cannot be an output of the process. So a process step for providing the claim receipt is the correct answer. Since there is an output of a claim receipt, there should be a step for it in SIPOC.
So if you look at the boxes underneath the arrows, you see the actual elements that you're dealing with.
Okay, we have one more in this case, in this scenario. During a peer review of the SIPOC, a colleague of Ashisha's commented that one of the process steps was unneeded in the diagram. Was he correct? And if so, which one is unneeded? A, enter claim details because the details are an input to the process. B, the colleague is not correct, all steps are needed. C, open XYZ claim app because it can be assumed to be a precondition of a process. D, record video because it can be assumed to be a precondition of the process. So here are the steps. Anything not needed among these steps? D is one input, is video clip. Record video because it can be assumed to be a precondition for process. Okay, we'll go with that. Okay, that is correct. Recording the video is the most likely to be a precondition. Good job.
Very good.
So number 15, which document provides stakeholders with an understanding of what new capabilities will be delivered in the change initiative? A, project vision, B, solution approach, C, solution scope, D, solution option. Which document?
Manu, have you ever seen one of those options in the BABOX?
Okay, well, I'm sure solution scope is one of them. Solution approach and solution scope sound familiar to me. I don't think it's project vision or solution option. Okay, so we have Faith says C, solution scope.
And Enrico agrees.
Okay. Okay, let's try that. That's correct.
Good. Choose D.
boundary
Let's see what
solution.
the answer is.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So solution option and solution approach are basically the same thing, but the correct answer is solution scope.
Right. Gotcha.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, that makes sense. The difference is it was already chosen and not something being decided on. Okay.
Right.
Moira is a BA facilitating a discussion with stakeholders regarding the implementation strategy for a solution. The sponsor is pressuring the team to implement the solution by year end, their busiest time of the year with the holidays. She ensures the conversation takes into consideration which of the following critical factors: A, key stakeholder requirements; B, minimal disruption to business activities and related organizational impacts; C, ability to train end users by year end, given the fact that it's their busiest time of year; D, availability of the delivery team due to the holidays and resources vacation schedules. And EJ has an answer, C, with a Babcock reference. All right. And I think we can try that. That is incorrect. Okay, this may be true, but training is too specific an activity. Another answer is more encompassing. So it's B. Given the information in the scenario, you can infer this is the most critical factor of those listed, given the business activity at the end of the year. So minimal disruption to business activities and related organizational impacts. Okay, and I think key stakeholder requirements would have been too broad. Okay. Jessica is the lead business analyst for a major upgrade of enterprise resource planning software for a company. She is concerned about the risks associated with achieving the future state that the sponsor wants for the enterprise. Besides the sponsor, which of the following stakeholders would be sensible to invite to the meeting? A, business analysts, B, customers, C, end users, D, suppliers. So she's concerned about risks about the new ERP.
Something I recently have realized with working with the different study groups is if you figure out which task this is, it really helps you narrow down what your elements are for that task. For instance, this task has to be the risk task in this knowledge area, right? And we know that there's a very limited number of stakeholders that go with that risk task. So this is assess risks.
So Brian says go for C, end users. And so does Faith. Okay, let's try it. And that's incorrect. End users are not listed as stakeholders for assessing the risks. Suppliers are listed as stakeholders for assess risks tasks. So remember your stakeholders for each task. An organization seeks to increase employee satisfaction within the next year. What is this an example of? A, business objective, B, potential value, C, business requirement, D, business goal. EJ, I'm not sure if this was the previous question. No, it looks like the previous question. Okay, we don't have an answer for this question yet. So what is this question asking for?
So we know this is the task to find future state.
Six 6.2.4 business goal, says EJ. And Akinsola agrees, right? No, he doesn't. Akinsola says B and EJ says D. We need a tiebreaker or someone to explain. Okay, got the tiebreaker. Let's go with it. That's correct. Okay, a business goal is a statement of a state or condition that an organization is seeking to establish and maintain. So something that they want to achieve. Okay. Sangrita is a BA assigned to the R&D function of a cell phone manufacturing company. The developers would like to obtain funding to create a phone battery that will automatically charge itself whenever it detects a wireless connection. Señorita has been charged with writing the business case to obtain funding for this exciting new venture. She has all the information she needs about the limitations of the current technology and the angst it causes customers who desire a longer battery life. She wants to ensure that she fully understands this opportunity. In order to do so, what might be her course of action? A, Señorita could survey customers who have submitted complaints regarding the current battery life in order to understand a viable price point for the battery. B, understand the size of the market and gain competitive intelligence to hopefully understand potential price points for the battery. C, write a business case using different scenarios in order to quantify benefits using pessimistic, optimistic, and most likely view of sales velocity. D, Señorita could conduct focus groups with representatives of the target market to understand what they would pay for the battery. So C is all the talks about price points. All talks about price points. Oh. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, actually, let's go with C. We're running short on time. So that is incorrect. The correct answer is letter B. This is a tall order, but Señorita is going to need to quantify benefits for a business case. To do this, she'll need to do a market analysis to comprehensively and realistically understand the market opportunity. Okay. How much detail should the solution scope contain? A, the solution scope should be described in just enough detail to ensure the stakeholders understand what value will be delivered. B, the solution scope should be described in enough detail to effectively address the anticipated concerns of all key stakeholders, thus ensuring buy-in. C, the solution scope should be described in enough detail to allocate resources for the project. D, the solution scope should describe the boundaries of the solution. Okay, so Fate says A. The solution scope should be described in just enough detail to ensure stakeholders understand what value will be delivered. And Andy agrees, so let's check it out. That's correct.
Very
Good
good.
job. Okay. You have encountered a huge mental block in determining solution options for your project, and the project implementation date just got moved up. You need options and you need them fast. Which of the following will best help you? A, benchmarking, B, brainstorming, C, interviews, D, focus groups. What gets you options fast? Okay, Jay says brainstorming. And looks unanimous. It's the fastest question answered. Good job.
I want y'all to know that almost any time it's asking for generating options fast, it's going to ask brainstorming is going to be the answer. Whether it's you want to generate stakeholder list or you want to generate something else fast, it's probably going to be brainstorming.
Okay, thank you. Farouk is a business analyst working with a business owner to define the business requirements related to a new opportunity in his organization. He works in a company that produces bathroom fixtures. The company is known not only for high-end fixtures that are sold worldwide, but for its outstanding customer service. What factors will Farouk consider in order to document business requirements? A, the underlying source of the opportunity and the associated risks and their costs. B, Farouk will focus on understanding why the change is needed along with the expected benefits from pursuing the opportunity. C, Farouk needs a thorough understanding of the opportunity and possible benefits given organizational constraints. Excuse me. D, Farouk needs to understand the cost of doing nothing. In other words, not pursuing the opportunity. So what is Farouk doing? Andy says B. EJ says D from a previous question.
We need a tiebreaker. We got a
It says
tiebreaker.
D. All right, check it out. That is incorrect. Farouk does not need to understand the consequences of maintaining the status quo, but that pertains more to understanding the business need versus business requirements. Okay, so the key here is Farouk wasn't doing the same thing as in the earlier question. So the word thorough is the key here, as a business requirements are primary output for the analyze current state task. So that's what he was doing. Okay, so if you're doing analyze current state, then you don't need to, you're not really looking at cost of doing nothing yet. So understanding constraints is also specifically mentioned in the definition of business requirements. So defining business requirements is the activity, analyze current state. Okay, Jamie is working on a mobile banking initiative to allow customers to perform all deposits and withdrawal functions using a mobile phone. He's familiarizing himself with the organizational structure in order to better understand the current state environment. What will reviewing the organization structure tell him? A, it will help him calculate the number of communication channels in the organization as input into his communication strategy. B, it will give him insight into the capabilities of the organization. C, it will tell him how many audiences he has to consider when scheduling requirements workshops. D, it will reflect the formal relationships between people working in the enterprise. What does an org structure tell you? Okay, I have to scroll for this one. D, it reflects formal relationships. Okay, with explanation. So let's go with that. That's correct. Good job. And the next question, same scenario. Why is reviewing the org structure so important to a change initiative? A, so the stakeholders aren't overlooked in the elicitation process. B, the reporting structure may aid or limit a potential change. C, it will assist the business and analyst in the recommendation of a sponsor for the change initiative. D, so that the political impacts of transitioning to the future state are thoroughly understood. Okay. And again, it's fate. C, because of sponsor recommendation. Okay, let's try that. We're a little bit over time, but we're almost there. That's not correct. So B is the correct answer. The reporting structure may aid or limit potential change. Okay, so this one was an invented answer. Alright, the business analyst is working with stakeholders and the project team to evaluate and rule out options not being viable. What is the ultimate output that the business analyst is trying to produce? A, gap analysis, B, future state description, C, solution scope, D, change strategy. Evaluate and rule out options. So
Have any-
state again says C, solution scope. Let's try that out. And that's right. Good job. The solution scope identifies the new capabilities the change will deliver. So
The solution scope is the Babok term for future state description, right? You gotta have the Babok voice, the Babok terms. Good job.
okay, so that's it for this study session. You have a
Go up
total of
and
13.
submit the exam in the blue boxes.
Um
A little bit
Next.
higher. There you go, and view results.
results. There you go. Okay. This is not good.
This is not optimal. However, this is one of the hardest chapters. But what we've done here today is identify where we have our own gaps in our knowledge, so we can go and address those. So, Manu, what do you want to do for next time? wanna take-
We will be having additional sessions. We're planning to have additional sessions. We're gonna have them on October 9 and October 22 to sort of deep dive into other into some of the topics that we feel need them the most. So we could keep on going with the we could move on to the next topic and then revisit what we need to revisit at that time. I think.
Okay.
I think that's the way to go. What do you guys
Okay.
think?
So do you want to move on to chapter 7 for next session? And then we'll come back to this in October.
Okay, we got a thumbs up. More than one thumbs up. Okay, sounds good. All right, so make sure to review.
So I do encourage y'all to continue to study this, because the outputs of this feed into chapter 7. So don't just stop on this one. Keep going.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're all connected. And thank you so much, Thea, for joining. And thank you,
You're
everyone.
welcome. And I'm sorry for being late. I'm so embarrassed, but decided it'd be better to be late than not show up.
Yeah, definitely. We're glad you showed up anyway. And don't worry about it.
Okay. We'll
All right.
be better. We do better when we know better. So we'll be better next time.
All right. Thank you so much again, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Goodbye, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.